Now the reason I'm bringing that up before I go into anything, because it's like, you know how fast niggas is ready to get up and be like, the white man is miseducating our children. And you know how fast white people is ready to say, we don't want them N-words in there with our kids. Nah. But in reality, it's not a black or a white American that's miseducating each other. It's Israeli. So imagine, so I'll bring this up before I go, this is how deep this is. Imagine during the civil rights movement when they was segregating schools. But you still was getting if you was white because you was getting it from the McGraw-Hill, so you wasn't better than no Negroes.
So you're saying the information
all of it is from Israel. So you're not learning black history, but then white people are not learning real white history too. Why you think white people got a false sense of pride? Because none of this shit they learned about themselves is true. It's just that they learned to make them feel better than us.
Well, we know it's not true. No, they weren't kings, all this stuff.
But they don't know it's not true.
They do know.
No. Listen to me. At one point in time when they first told the lie, it wasn't true. But then they told it to their kids and it became true to them. The lie hit them. You understand what I'm saying?
But they know that. They know they're not superior.
I'm going to say it again. When they first made the lie up, they knew it wasn't true.
Right.
But the lie has been passed down for so long that now they think it's true. For example, the evolution theory teaches what? Natural selection, which is a lie. But what is natural selection? Natural selection is that black people were unfit to survive in an environment and we were going to go extinct if we didn't evolve and become the newest form of humanoid species, which is the #1 prototype, and that is considered a Caucasian. See, people don't know about the evolution.
But we are intelligent beings, man. Intelligence can't be measured because it's different type of intelligence, right?
Right.
We can survive. We got survival intelligence.
Right, but that's not what the evolution theory teach. Now, see how fast your common sense kicked in? See how fast your critical thinking and logic kicked in? It's a somewhere that said, your ass is not intelligent enough to survive in hot, cold, and rain.
Intelligence can't be measured. Your body can adapt to anything.
Right, but the evolution theory says it can be measured, and it says that if you don't become white, you cannot adapt, because if you didn't become white, you didn't adapt, you died.
Nah.
Yeah, that's what it says. I agree with you, but that's what it says. Let me say it again. If you didn't become white, you died. That's what the evolution theory is, natural selection. A bunch of that was uneducated and couldn't survive in the heat or the cold, so they went to the cold and became white, and now they became more intelligent and more adaptable to environments.
Went to the cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what evolution theory is.
Yeah.
And I said,
you can go
now
to the
imagine
cold
telling that lie, right? Imagine telling that lie.
Oh, that was what was said.
Right.
They saying basically, so the story they say, imagine you been in what they say is Africa. They say Africa was over there. They don't say it was over here. They say a lot of stuff. They said the tribe from there left. When that tribe from there left, they left and went over to the mountains, and after years and years and years, their skin just turned pale and they turned white.
And not saying something wrong, but don't just say left. Say the reason they left.
Yeah.
They left because they were deemed non-desirable in society.
Right.
It's not like they just left because...
this got something kind of like to do with Michael Jackson, kind of?
Well, I guess so. Maybe it does. I'm not going to tell him no, but I'm gonna just stay on the subject of what Unc is on. According to this particular species of people, our ancestors were going to die and starve to death because they didn't know how to live on their own, pretty much.
Right.
So they went and they migrated to a colder region because part of them, were deemed undesirable by the rest of their peers. Right. And they became allegedly today what is known as Caucasian. And none of that is true. I ain't saying, thank you. I ain't saying he said, I'm just saying that just so y'all know.
And what is true is...
What is true is this.
White kids believe that now.
Well, I'm going to say this. What is true
and
is
they
this.
look at you now as, and not to cut you off, this is why I said it wasn't a lie at first, but then it became an accidental truth. When white people first came up with the evolution theory, you know why they came up with it? Why? Because it exonerated them from criminal prosecution in court. Because instead of them saying they beat this black man, or they hung and beat this black man, they hung and beat me as a black man, I was considered an animal. I was 3/5 of a human. So you could never, so murder would always be manslaughter. Would always be, you would never actually get penalized for what you're doing because this person is not considered a human. That's why they came up with the evolution theory, so that way they could be as brutal as they want without being criminally prosecuted. But then what happened is you never took that back. You put the lie out, but you never took the lie back. Mm-hmm. You put the lie out in the late 1700s. Charles Darwin, Francis Darwin and Charles Darwin is cousins. Listen to me. Charles Darwin allegedly came with the evolution theory, but y'all know that Francis Darwin, a known racist, is his cousin. He the one that told him to do it. So that's like me and 607 right now, and me and I'm gonna just call him Unc the Punk, right? For public service purposes, right? I'm gonna call him by his T name. That's like me and 607 and Unc the Punk, right? We go outside and we say we want to whoop this ass, but we don't want to go to jail. So we gonna say that this evolved from a bird. We're gonna beat the shit out of his ass. Then when the police come, we're gonna be like, yeah, we did it, but we ain't assault no human. We whooped the bird ass.
Right.
So, right, you know what I'm saying? So that's what they did. They said we evolved from monkeys.
Right.
And they used that excuse to the same way go to excuse and use the insanity plea. Now ending it here so your wisdom can flow, because this wisdom want to flow. Ending that here, right? They actually forgot to admit that was a lie. And now you got a bunch of white kids running around looking at black people like they evolved from us and that we are a subhuman group that is inferior of survival on our own because your ancestors wanted to beat and rape people and their excuse for doing it was that this person was less than valuable. And they created a reason for it to be. But they never admitted to you as the offspring that they lied. So now you walking around and you looking at and you looking at and you looking at me like we're subhuman species, when in reality, not only is that far from the truth, it never was true, but it's a truth. It was a lie that was created so that way your ancestors could be as brutal as they could be without getting ever the max.
Right, that's good.
Go ahead.
We're going to get to this creation you was talking about before we get too far on.
And genetic engineering.
Creation.
We're going to talk about the genetic engineering part because, like,
let's go.
You got to talk about understanding this. So the original scientists and the original everything was actually you, but actually a different. We could probably got different opinions on what actually happened. Like he say human, but I say I'm not a human. Mm-hmm. I say they more human than me, right? Because humans was genetically created.
Mm-hmm. No, humanoids.
Yeah, humanoids, right?
We are human.
Right. Well, I call it human.
Genetically engineered.
Anything with humanoids, I call it the same thing.
Well, we're gonna keep it sharp. We're gonna keep each other sharp because you keep me sharp, I'm gonna keep you sharp. I'm gonna tell you why I said humanoids, because I don't ever want to think I would correct you as a man.
No, that's all
the
good.
reason I said oids is because oids is like a type of. So we are human. We're not a type of. We are it. Anything other than us is a type of us.
Right.
So if you a robot, you a digitoid / humanoid.
Right.
You got 2 arms, 2 legs.
Makes
if
sense.
you are you know I ain't gotta say too much, but he know where I'm going.
Makes sense.
We the humans. Everything else is humanoid, and start saying humanoid instead of mankind.
Well, I'm not the human because I'm not the body. I am the soul. I'm something greater than the body.
The vessel
so
is humanoid.
I am not the body, so
That's
I am not a human, right? So what I'm saying, the essence of that, if you is in the mind of the human mind, let's say this right. So you're in the mind of the human mind. Could it be such thing as a soul trap for the soul if you being stuck in your human mind?
Yes.
How could that happen?
Well, stagnation. The mind is no longer flowing. The mind is no longer learning and expanding. It can happen multiple ways, but the most common way it can happen is running out of shit to learn. Like
I like to say that too. Like people die. Like a lot of times people don't understand when they die. You die when you run out of shit to live for. Like for real. Like when your mind don't have nothing, no tomorrow to look forward to, and you start running that cycle, then your body start getting sick and you die.
Would die in your sleep. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
You die from your mind. Yeah, come on.
He said it already, but I'm just so running out of shit to learn, running out of information.
Because I did want to have a spiritual talk with you a little bit.
Yeah, come on.
So sometimes when I walk around and I'm in places where there's a lot of people, sometimes I'm comfortable and sometimes I don't feel comfortable. Sometimes I be starting to have that little stuff that happened to me where I can see things that other people can't see.
That's right.
Am I seeing the reptilians take over somebody's body and then, is that how they move?
Well, I saw that before, but I want to say this before I answer that question, and I'm not saying I'm not going to answer. I want to say this.
Go ahead.
Remember, there's virtue and vice in all things. So I don't want people to think that the reptilian race is really the evil race, because the evil race is really the arachnoid race.
Right.
Right. So let's confirm that.
Okay,
right.
So that's not nothing.
So I'm pretty sure. No. I'm saying I'm pretty sure getting in where they fit in. I'm pretty sure it's a reptile or two doing something they ain't supposed to be doing. Just like
overall,
if I rob a nigga and I'm running in that money for you, better pick some of that up.
But overall, it's not something that we are against.
Right. We are.
But
actually,
they make it kind of look like it sometimes.
Because what we was talking, I'm gonna still answer your question, but what we were talking about earlier, living next door to something that is not you for so long, you adopted their ideology. How long could I live next door to a GD before I start saying, and please y'all, let me just say this for fun, don't try to whoop my ass on the street, I don't want to have to box it. How long could I live next door to a GD or something before I start saying 7-4 for the world blow? I'm gonna hear that so much, I'm gonna start saying that, right or wrong. How the f you think kids start saying it? Because you living next door to it that's doing that. So we as black people, or Negroids, have been living next door to multiple extraterrestrial species.
Can a
we
person
have
that you friends
adopted
with,
their
or like
fears.
different humans, can they actually be of a higher being, like an
Yes.
Anunnaki or a Pleiadian?
All of these entities
Yeah.
are of higher intelligence. The reason we don't understand it is because somebody told us that it was just a bug.